Good Friday morning. This just in, JPMorgan reported a big hit from the tax bill and a plunge in fixed income trading. The dirty business of overhauling immigration law. And the cloud that hung over Walmart yesterday. A note to readers, we'll be off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. See you on Tuesday. The highlights from the big bank's latest earnings release: $4.2 billion in net income for the fourth quarter, down 34% because of $2.4 billion worth of charges related to the new tax law. Excluding the tax-related charges, the bank earned $1.76 per share. Analysts on average had expected $1.69. Investment banking revenue was up 10%, at $1.60 billion. Fixed income trading was down 34%, while stock markets revenue was flat. The bigger picture: the one-time engine of Wall Street's enviable performance, fixed income trading, is still sputtering, thanks to new regulations, disruptive technologies, and calmer markets. More from Emily Flitter and Kate Kelly in the NYT_on DealBook. Briefing was written by Andrew Ross Sorkin in New York, and Michael J. DeLamer and Amy Tsung in London. Morning. 6 senators looked near a bipartisan deal on how to protect the class of young unauthorized immigrants known as Dreamers. That would have pleased the 142 business leaders who had pleaded for one. Then shithole happened. Leaving aside the controversy over the vulgarity, President Trump's reported remarks, which he says weren't quite like that, exposed his skepticism about the contours of a proposal presented to him by the senators Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, and Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois. Democrats want a clean bill to protect the immigrants, but Mr. Trump questioned why immigrants from Haiti and parts of Africa should be protected too. Other Republicans expressed skepticism as well. Senator John Cornyn of Texas said, "We need to have more than 6 votes for a proposal." The Washington fly-around inside the fractious relationship between the president and his party. Time: Stephen Mnuchin defended Mr. Trump's planned visit to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, with the improbable assertion that it isn't a hangout for globalists. Axios: how Mr. Mnuchin is expanding his influence within the administration, to colleagues' consternation. Politico: the retail giant initially won praise for announcing that it was raising hourly wages to $11, expanding parental leave benefits, and offering U.S. employees bonuses of up to $1,000. But then people calculated how much or little it would all cost. The $300 million bill for the new hourly rate amounts to just 0.3% of the company's sales and administration costs. One analyst calculated Walmart's overall tax savings at about $2.20 billion. Critics pointed out that Walmart would probably have had to raise wages anyway, given the tight labor market and competition from rivals like Target. Walmart said it was closing 63 Sam's Club stores, and trying to find jobs for affected employees. The tax fly-around Fiat Chrysler announced $2,000 bonuses for about 60,000 workers and plans to move some truck production to Michigan from Mexico. WSJ: Delta said yesterday that the tax changes would help it in 2 ways, via a lower corporate rate, and via other businesses spending some of their savings on travel. Reuters: Bill Dudley, the New York Fed's president, said the cuts would probably prompt rate increases. FT, the Treasury Department is encouraging companies to incorporate the new, lower withholding rates as soon as possible, so benefits will show sooner. NYT, companies like Apple whose fiscal years don't match the calendar year could use a loophole for even bigger gains. Bloomberg, with its confidential filing with the SEC, the online file storage company will be the latest Silicon Valley unicorn to attempt a transition to the public markets by spring. It hopes. One big question: what will Dropbox be valued at? Private market investors reckon $10 billion. And can it command a higher valuation than its rival Box? What's next? Dropbox has already hired Goldman Sachs and JPMorgan Chase as underwriters, and will appoint more. It will then work on formalizing its prospectus and arrange meetings with analysts and, eventually, prospective investors. The other big question: will Dropbox be more like Stitch Fix, up 66% since its IPO, or Snap, down 40%? What to expect? More status updates by family or photos of your friend's Bernese Mountain Dog. And fewer posts by publishers. What publishers fear, as expressed by Jason Kint of Digital Content Next to Sydney Ember and Supna Maheshwari of the NYT. Mark Zuckerberg acknowledged that could hit Facebook's business in the short term. Its shares were down 2.6% in pre-market trading this morning. The bigger point: the company and Mr. Zuckerberg are considering how to reshape their products in the face of an array of critics, from Congress and other governments to user privacy advocates. We want to make sure that our products are not just fun, but are good for people, Mr. Zuckerberg told Mike Isaac of the NYT. Being accused of harassing a female journalist, Lauren Terra-LaCapra of Reuters, said he tried to pull her into an elevator to go to a cocktail lounge helped hasten a downfall years in the making. What Morgan Stanley officials felt, according to Kate Kelly and Andrew in the NYT. Mr. Ford and his lawyers argue otherwise and said Ms. LaCapra's account was false. Where is Wall Street's Me Too moment? Keep waiting. More than most industries, finance can force cases into arbitration. And there's the money, as the wealth manager Jennifer Hatch told Max Abelson of Bloomberg. The misconduct fly-around DFJ has apologized for an event hosted by a co-founder, Steve Jurvetson, that a book by the Bloomberg reporter Emily Chong described as featuring rampant sex and drug use. Recode: Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, has backed the Me Too movement, saying his company had a lot to do on gender bias. Politico: university students and faculty worldwide have been describing harassment in an anonymous crowdsourced spreadsheet. WSJ: tax professionals are getting more questions from Bitcoin sellers, and the IRS is also showing interest. More from Brian Fung of the WAPO: the digital money fly-around shares in the money transfer services provider MoneyGram rose after it said it was testing Ripple's XRP. MoneyGram: at least a dozen Chinese companies played down their blockchain connections amid signs that regulators are trying to limit speculative surges. Bloomberg: the top Wall Street lawyer Raj Cohen said it was a matter of time until U.S. regulators began a sweeping response to Bitcoin. Bloomberg: coin miners are straining the infrastructure of a small county in Washington state where electricity is cheap. CNBC: Peter Thiel offered to purchase some assets from what's left of Gawker. Reuters: the rapper Drake wants to take his whiskey company public through a Regulation A and offering, a type of crowdsourced fundraising. FT: the French conglomerate Kering said it would spin off the sports brand Puma, and focus on luxury. NYT: Goldman Sachs's private equity arm Investor Capital Partners are exploring a sale of the food manufacturer Hearthside Food Solutions, for about $2.5 billion, according to people familiar with the matter. Bloomberg, Maoyan, China's biggest online film ticketing platform, is planning an initial public offering in Hong Kong that could raise about $1 billion, according to people with knowledge of the matter. Bloomberg, Fidelity Investments, Principal Funds, and BlackRock disclosed lower valuations for Uber after SoftBank purchased shares at a 30% discount. Recode, the for-profit health insurance company Centene was sued by customers who said it had failed to provide adequate access to doctors in 15 states. NYT, Dish Network, CBS, 21st Century Fox, Netflix, and Starz have given the Justice Department information for its case against AT&T's proposed deal with Time Warner, according to unnamed sources. WSJ, Fujifilm, which is in talks with Xerox, has reinvented itself and plans to spend more than $4 billion over the next 3 years on acquisitions. WSJ, the alleged theft of exchange-traded funds worth $1.4 billion has raised a question for the industry, who owns an ETF. WSJ, Qualcomm is set to clinch conditional EU antitrust approval for its $39 billion acquisition of NXP Semiconductors as soon as next week, according to unidentified sources. WSJ, Iran's protests were fueled by anger over losses at loosely regulated credit institutions, which affected millions of people. WSJ, want this in your own email inbox? Here's the sign up. You can find live updates throughout the day at newyorktimes.com/dealbook. We'd love your feedback. Please email thoughts and suggestions to bizday@newyorktimes.com.